All right, I'm going to call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Can we start with a roll call?
Alberto Paratori.
Aziz Hassan.
Norma Drummond.
Art Mahoney.
Thank you. Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All right, I'm going to go out of order just slightly. This is our October meeting, which we have one more meeting for this year because our December meeting would have fallen on Christmas Eve, so we're not going to meet that evening. We do need to adopt a schedule for next year, just in the event that there's snow in November. And we don't have the opportunity to meet, so that's why I just want to, we put forth some dates here. They've already been vetted for holidays, and the only thing we didn't look for was whether there's any elections or anything like that. And the May one may be grievance day again. But that's usually like the 20th, yeah. So, all right, so the location may change on these, but otherwise they were vetted for holidays. So with the exception, we're going to take off the December 23rd, with the exception of the December meeting date here. Do I have a motion to approve our schedule of meetings for 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So now with that done, our upcoming meetings are going to be Tuesday, November 26th, which is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and Tuesday, January 28th. All right, we have one set of minutes to approve, the minutes from September 24th. There were very few minutes, but there was one line that was repeated in there twice. That was, I know it was just a test for me to make sure I actually read those, but, so that was like one correction I found in there. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You can keep your tests up, Julie, that's okay. All right, how this works is the first part of our agenda we actually have an item that needs an amendment to a resolution. I'll explain that in a second. But really, the first part of our agenda is public hearings. These are applications that this board has heard before, and now letters have been sent to the neighbors, and so we want to be able to get any comments from neighbors about any concerns or whether they support the applications. And for everybody's information, items number 5 and 6, the two reviews, number 5 has been withdrawn, and number 6 needs an updated survey, and they have not gotten it yet. So there is not going to be any action on items number 5 and 6. So really all we have tonight is the amended decision and the amended resolution and the 3 public hearings. So with that said, let's start with item number 1, Appeal 4051, Richard Sheeran, 19 Maple Place, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 25-foot front line variance for a proposed 1,630 square foot addition and a 6-foot side yard variance for an existing 18-foot by 12-foot or 216 square foot shed pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. So the issue here is that the applicant, the man's house is where it is, but the survey that he was mislabeled. There was a 2-foot difference on where the front of the house was, and so when they did the addition, that 2-foot continued. So no error on the gentleman's part here, but we need to amend our resolution. The construction's been done, and now it's been verified that we're 2 feet off from what it was. So Michael has weighed in that this is de minimis, and again, because it was the technical professional survey where the error was, it was not an error on our part, not an error on the applicant's part. So do I have a motion to approve, or let's read the resolution.
Okay, I'm going to read the resolution, the amended resolution. So this is amended appeal number 4051. Applicant is Richard Sheeran, requesting a 27-foot front line variance from the schedule of bulk regulations for a proposed 1,630 square foot addition, and 2, a 5-foot side line variance from the requirement of section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations for an existing 18 feet by 12 feet, 216 square foot shed. The variances. resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Ahsan, whereas the ZB approved the applicant's request for variances for one, a 25-foot front line variance from the schedule of bulk regulations for a proposed 1,630 square foot addition, and two, a 5-foot sideline variance from the requirement of section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations for an existing 18 feet by 12 feet 216 square foot shed at its January 24th, 2023 meeting, and whereas it was later discovered that the survey was incorrect and the applicant needed a 27-foot front line variance rather than a 25-foot front line variance for a covered porch, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on January 24th, 2023, and whereas a legal notice was published in the Southern Duchess News on January 18, 2023, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood as the area is heavily wooded and there is no difference in impact between a 27-feet front line variance and a 25-foot front line variance. The desired result cannot be achieved by other means due to the layout of the property. The variances could be deemed substantial but will be mitigated by the existing natural vegetative buffer. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves a request from Richard Sheeran for one, a 27 feet front line variance from the schedule of bulk regulations for a proposed or existing.
Well, then it was proposed.
Yeah, we had to.
Okay, so we go with proposed, okay, I have no problem. Proposed 1,600 square foot addition and two, a 5-foot sideline variance from the requirement of section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations for an existing 18 feet by 12 feet 216 square foot shed. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Aziz,
Aye.
Alberto,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Your motion carries, you're all set.
Thank you
Okay?
very much.
You're very welcome, have a good evening.
That's it?
That's it, you're good.
Enjoy your holidays.
You too, take care.
Take care.
All right, now on to our public hearings. Item number 2, Appeal 4124, Mike Todd, 167 Cranberry Drive, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 7-foot rear line variance for a proposed in-ground pool and a 44-foot rear line variance for a proposed cabana pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good evening.
Good evening.
So last month, we had an opportunity to review your application with you. What we talked about is that your property has a very steep incline in the back, and so you put the pool and the cabana really in the best location given your topography of your site. And it's also, you've said you located it in the middle of your back because you were trying to minimize the impact to your neighbors on your sides. But your neighbor in the back, who would really be the most impacted because you're so close to your rear line, has almost a 40-foot incline, is what you told us. Essentially, he can't see into your yard.
Yeah,
so.
he can't see, would have to climb the hill to
Yeah.
even look down into it.
Yeah, so anybody who knows part of the neighborhood, I've been in there, it's great water slide.
That helps to have seen it, I'm glad.
You know, so, one question we did not ask you was, where is your pool equipment? We didn't see it located on the survey.
Yeah, it's not on the survey. The contractor was planning to put it on the right side.
It's not going to
Is
need a
it shown
variance,
on
that's what we needed to know, right? It's going to be within,
Yeah, that's right. So near where, and I'm looking to see if this is shown on here. On the side closest to 173 Cranberry, like by the wall that comes out from the driveway.
okay.
Along that wall
Where you
somewhere
have
is
at
the most likely
least
spot.
70 feet or 67 and a half feet. So you have
Yeah.
plenty of room for pool equipment over there.
Yeah, we're hoping they can tuck it somewhere sorry, put some shrubbery there or something to
Okay.
cover it up, so.
All right, we just wanted to be sure it wasn't going to be in the back and would then also need a variance. That was the,
Okay, yeah,
the only other thing I wanted to mention was the cabana, which is the closest object or structure to the rear line, is essentially going to be open on 3 sides, I think you said. So it's
That's
going to be
right.
really used for seating area, and, that you're going to be, that's where you'll have the opportunity to just sit and relax and enjoy your pool, so.
yeah, it'll be the enclosed area is shown on the survey, that's 6.5 foot
Yeah.
on the left side.
Yep. Comments or questions from board members?
Again, as long as you tuck in the pool equipment within the variances, I don't think there should be an issue there.
If we were to put it to the left of the cabana there, to tuck it behind, what would the restrictions be, I guess, to make
It
sure
has to
that we
be within
don't,
the 25 feet
within the 25 feet? Okay.
from your rear line.
From the rear line.
Right, or that's going to be 25 feet or 50?
25.
25, okay.
Same as the pool.
Same as, okay, good,
Yeah,
that's
same
what I
as
thought. I had it right the first time, then I started guessing myself.
I know he wanted it to be as close to the pool as possible, that it's
Yeah.
more efficient if they can get it. So I don't even think if we could do it behind the cabana, we'd want to, because we'd want it to be as closer to the pool. So along that retaining wall to the left of the pool.
Okay,
Okay, I mean, as long as it's either side of the wall and it's within that envelope that we are giving the variances for, I don't see an issue.
Great.
any other questions from board members?
I have none.
No, I'm good.
So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Mike Todd, 167 Cranberry Drive, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 7-foot rear line variance for a proposed in-ground pool and a 44-foot rear line variance for a proposed cabana? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution?
Oh, I'm sorry. Appeal number 4124, applicant Mike Todd, name of the project, a 7-foot rear line variance for a proposed in-ground pool and a 44-foot rear line variance for a proposed cabana from the requirements of section 194-95 of the Town Code and the schedule of bulk regulations, the variances. Location is 167 Cranberry Drive, Hopewell Junction, District R1, and it's read by me, Alberto Paratori. Whereas the applicant's house is located near the rear line of the property, creating less space to install a pool, and whereas the area near the proposed in-ground pool and cabana is heavily wooded with a steep incline in the rear with the significant screening from neighbors, and whereas the proposed in-ground pool and cabana will also be screened by existing topography, and whereas this is a Type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 16, 2024, whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on October 22, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the community, since the proposed in-ground pool and cabana will be adequately screened by the existing vegetation and topography. The desired result could not be achieved by other means due to the layout of the house. The rear line variance is substantial. The variances will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals thereby approves the request by Mike Todd for a 7-foot rear line variance for a proposed in-ground pool and a 44-foot rear line variance for a proposed cabana from the requirements of section 194-95 of the Town Code and the schedule of bulk regulations. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Aziz,
Aye.
Alberto,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Your motion carries, you're all set.
Excellent,
Now
thank
you
you.
deal with the building department.
All right, thank you.
All right.
You've all been really helpful through this process. Thanks, appreciate it.
Have a good evening. All right, item Number 3. I wrote down last month, how do I pronounce his name? So I just want to say it right. All right. Yeah, Paul Mikolajek.
Just
Did
call
I
him
say it
Paul.
right?
Just call him Paul.
Mikolajek, okay. Well, that is how I did actually split it up in the middle there. Okay. 7 Gung Ho Road, Stormville, requesting a 17-foot sideline variance and a 722 square foot size variance for a proposed 34 by 32 foot first floor and 12 by 32 foot second floor for a total of 1,472 square feet detached garage pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance and the schedule of bulk regulations. The footprint of the existing house is 1,144 feet. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening. All right, so we had the opportunity to talk about this with you last month.
Yes.
What we talked about was your house does not have a garage. So what you're looking for is a 3-bay garage, because you and your fiance or your significant other, you both commute long distances, and so you have a spare car that just is pretty typical, just in case one car is out of commission. You got to be able to do that. And what we talked about was, we were concerned about whether this was larger than your house, but it's actually not, because the footprint of your house is 1,144 square feet. The 1,472 comes from the fact that you have a second floor, but it's significantly not the full length of the garage.
That's correct.
But there will be steps, but there's not going to be any heat in there?
No heat, no water.
No heat, no water. So there's no residential use or anything like that on the second floor, which the second floor was only 12 feet by 32, so that's pretty small anyway. Questions or comments from board members?
We had talked about, and just refresh my mind on the frame shed. I believe that is going to be removed.
Yes.
Has it been?
Yeah, what he said was if he gets the garage, what's in the shed would be moved into the garage.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that was my only issue. And the old cellar is old.
Yeah, there's a root cellar identified on the survey that,
It's
knows
there.
what it is. It's just-
It's grandfathered.
What it is, it's cold storage for their fruits and vegetables. It's made out of stacked stone.
how deep is it?
Okay.
You can stand in it.
You can say, okay.
They've cut it into the side of right into the side of the earth.
Oh, okay, all
So
right.
basically, for our purposes, it's grandfathered in? I mean, or,
Yeah, it's before zoning.
because it's right at the edge, so I
before
just want to make
zoning.
sure we clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't need to address it.
It's in the ground, it's not above ground.
Right.
Yeah, it's in the side of a hillside.
Yeah, it's like a bunker. you know.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, that was the
Okay,
two
yeah,
issues.
we did actually talk about it
Correct, so-
last month,
So
so.
I am okay with everything.
Any other comments or questions from board members? Okay. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Paul Mikolajek, 7 Gung Ho Road, Stormville, requesting a 17-foot sideline variance and a 722 square foot size variance for a proposed 34 by 32 first floor and 12 by 32 second floor, total of 1,472 square feet detached garage? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appeal number 4125, applicant Paul Mikolajek. Name of the project is a 17-foot sideline variance and a 722 square foot sideline variance from section 194-107 of the town code and the schedule of bulk regulations for a proposed 1,472 square foot detached garage. The variances. The location is at 7 Gung Ho Road, Stormville. Resolution offered by myself, Art Mahoney. Whereas the existing house does not have a garage, and whereas the proposed detached garage measures 34 by 32 for the first floor and 12 by 32 for the second floor, totaling 1,472 square feet, and whereas the siding of the proposed detached garage will match the siding of the house, and whereas the applicant and his fiancee commute to work out of Dutchess County and need to have a spare vehicle available, which is why the applicant is requesting a 3-car garage, And whereas the upstairs portion of the garage will only be used for storage and there will be no heat in the garage, and whereas an existing shed will be removed after the detached garage is installed, and whereas this is a Type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 16, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on October 22nd, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the community, since the applicant will now be able to store his vehicles in the garage rather than being forced to park them in the driveway. The desired result could not be achieved by other means due to the layout of the house. The sideline variance is substantial. The variances will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Paul Mikolajek for the 17-foot sideline variance and 722 square foot size variance from section 194-107 of the Town Code and the Schedule of Bulk Regulations for a proposed 1,472 square foot detached garage. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Aziz.
Aye.
Alberto.
Aye.
Art.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your motion carries. Now you just deal with the building department. Have a good evening.
Starting tomorrow? Or 5 days?
Can he come see you tomorrow?
Yeah, I might be there. I don't know.
Thank you.
Item number 4, Appeal 4126, Simtech, Stephen Teed, 40 Corporate Park Drive, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 3-foot side yard variance for an existing propane tank pursuant to the Schedule of Bulk Regulations. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So last month, we reviewed your application with you. You guys did, in addition to your building last year, you put propane tanks in so you could heat it for the winter. You thought you were zoned industrial, and the industrial...
Other way around, we thought we
Other
were
way.
zoned B.
Oh, sorry, you thought you were zoned to be the business district, which only has a 10-foot side yard variance, but you're actually in the I-1 zone, which needs the 20-foot. But the biggest issue is Amazon is your neighbor next door. The closest parking, there's not even a structure of it anywhere near you. The closest parking with the trucks and everything is like way distant. So you're not really going to be impactful to anybody here. So not at the current time. If any additional structures get built on that building, they're going to know this is here. So comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Good.
Oh, good.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against the request from Stephen Teed, 40 Corporate Park Drive, Hopewell, requesting a 3-foot side yard variance for an existing propane tank? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, this is appeal number 4126. Applicant is Stephen Teed on behalf of Simtech, requesting a 3-foot side yard variance from the Schedule of Bulk Regulations for an existing propane tank. A resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Ahsan, whereas the property is located in industrial area, and whereas the applicant mistakenly believed that the property was in the B1 zone rather than the I1 zone, and whereas the propane tank was installed for heating and met the requirements of B1 zone, and whereas this is a type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 16, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on October 22nd, 2024, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the community, since the since the tank is significantly smaller than structures in the neighboring properties, the desired result could be achieved by other means as could not be achieved by other means as the installation of natural gas is cost prohibitive. The variances is not substantial, or the variance is not substantial, the variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Stephen Teed on behalf of Simtech for a 3-foot side yard variance from the Schedule of Bulk Regulations for an existing propane tank. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Aziz?
Aye.
Alberto?
Aye.
Art?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your motion carries, you're all set.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
Too.
Then motion to adjourn.
Okay, so the other two have been withdrawn or?
Yeah, the item number 5 was withdrawn, as I said earlier, and number
Okay,
6.
so motion to adjourn till November.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good night, folks.
I just